Alright, chat. Let me switch tabs here. I think this is a good one. Yeah, this is a good one. Alright. I am going to I'll keep the music on for a little bit. But I'm probably gonna lower it a little. Can you can hear it a little bit, this tab. This is kind of confusing. Yeah, okay. So, I am going to be doing what the title says, which is analyzing my series, right? So I'm going to be talking about my series, I'm going to break it down and everything. And then I'm going to react to your guys' suggestions, whether that be other animations, other series, stuff of that nature. Just setting some stuff up right now. Because I don't want anything to break while I am in the process of doing this. We should be good though. You guys enjoy the music. I did not make it, but it is very nice. I'm almost done. I should probably change the title a little bit. Hold on. I am going to change the title of the stream a little. Where is it at? There we go. There we go. Hopefully we should get more people now. If more people don't show up, I'll just restart the live probably. But I think people will show up. Regardless of that though. Am I done? I think I got everybody. Hold on, I missed like 2 people. Alright. We should be able to get started now. Just make sure all my tabs are closed. Alright. Music is a little bit loud. I'm gonna lower it. There we go, that's good. So, guys. It's been a while since I streamed. Okay. I think this is the right one. Oh, no, is it this one? One of these. There we go. Hey! I still know how this works. Alright, so I'm gonna move this right here. Let's see. Which one is it? Is it this one? Yeah, there we go. Alright, so let me just... I don't know how to crop this so it fits. I mean, that works, right? I can just get rid of that. But I kind of don't want to. Uh, maybe I can like shrink it. Oh, there we go. Yeah, okay. I just gotta make it fit. There we go. Easy. All right, chat. So, what I'm going to do is, I'm gonna break down, my series. So, the first episode, which is the pilot, is 8 minutes, and the second episode is 9. That's gonna be like 20 minutes roughly. Okay. So I got a little paint window here. So that when I need to illustrate my thoughts, I can just draw them out here. I don't know if I can, if there's like a back tool though. I don't, what do you call that? Like an undo button? Yeah. I don't know if there's an undo button on here. Hmm. It's a pencil. It's an airbrush. Um, I mean, not really. Does it tell me how to undo? Nope. Let me look up what is the undo button. Control Z. Does that actually work? Let me see. I don't think it works. I don't think it works. It's fine. I can just do that. Alright, I'm gonna turn the music off now so you can actually hear the episode. If the audio is messed up or anything, y'all let me know because I have no idea. I didn't really test the audio before I got in here. So, yeah. Ooh. Open up a tab accident. Alright. What's good, Solomon? Welcome to the live. I have no idea what this is. Alright, chat. So, let me give a little bit of background. Let me check when I released this first of all, because it's been a while. So, I started working on this, I want to say, in February 2023. That's when I started working on the pilot, originally. Um, it was a long time ago now. It's been 2 years, which is a while ago. Um, so, yeah, so, the idea, right? The series Lights Gaze. I've been working on Lights Gaze itself since like 2021-ish, right? Um, and I had a different pilot on a different YouTube channel. um, I want to say like half a year before this, a year before this. It was like I think like August 2022. And it was in a completely different style with completely different models, right? Or figures have you. Whichever term you prefer. And uh the plot was similar, but it wasn't really the same. Like, it's kind of hard to describe it because it's not on YouTube anymore. uh I don't even know if the video still exists. uh I might be able to find it someday. That would be fun for like an anniversary type of thing, who knows. But after that pilot, I wasn't really satisfied with it, so I decided I'm just gonna remake everything. I'm just gonna do everything from the ground up. uh because I wasn't really happy with like the animation style, like how the characters looked. Like, you see how I look now, how I'm all cool and stuff. I can be like a gamer, you know. Dang, I didn't know this. I didn't know this was gonna open all these keys. Uh, all these tabs, I should say. But uh, what have you? Um, so I decided I was gonna remake everything. Not me by myself, obviously, because I can't really stick make like that. I'm not really. That's not really my forte, if that makes sense. So, with the help of my stick maker, whose name is Thespian. He's been in one of my live streams before, I think. Two actually. If my memory serves me correctly. He has a YouTube channel. You should be able to find it if you look it up. He also does stick note stuff. Yo, it's good. So, he helped to make the figures and stuff. Along with another stick maker who I don't remember the name of off the top of my head. And they made the main cast basically, which was Karenma, it was Tymir, and that little bandit guy at the beginning that you just saw, and generic like soldier character. So the pilot, we changed the script, right? Or I should say I changed the script. I rewrote everything. Because the series went through a lot of changes between 2022 to 2023. Uh like we developed the lore more, we expanded on the characters more, we figured out more of like the direction we wanted to go for the series basically, right? So a lot of things changed. So I was like, I might as well just redo the pilot. So uh basically um we wanted to go in a direction that's like more like we didn't want to focus on fights, but we also wanted to like, you know, have it still be like important to the show, if that makes sense. Or at least I did. So I tried to make um the series kind of more like focused on the story aspect, at least in these two episodes. But I also try to include, you know, like the fighting aspect and the magic and all that. In episode two, which yes, we are still working on. Um, it's been a while, but yes, we're still working on it. I do want to get a trailer out for it eventually, but uh, we still gotta animate more of it first. But episode two is also along the lines of that, where uh, it's more story focused and it's more character focused, but the whole theme of the episode does tie around like a big fight that happens. I'm not gonna spoil anything like crazy, but you know, you'll know when you know. Yeah, so fun fact, right? Uh, I don't know if it's obvious or not, but I obviously didn't make any of these assets, right? The city is not mine. I did not make the city. This is just assets I found off of the website, basically. Um, so when I was animating this, I was trying to figure out how to like introduce Tymir into the scene, because I didn't know like what to do, right? Because this guy's just on top of a random building. It's not like I could just have him appear behind him in the building. You know, it wouldn't really make sense because like there's nobody there. You know, so the idea that I came up with was that he would like come out of the sky, kind of like a lightning bolt. You know, because you know he uses lightning magic. I thought it would be, you know, kind of cool to make him like enter into the frame, kind of like that. So yeah, I had him come in like that. Uh, and that kick took me like, I'm not gonna lie, like 5 to 10 minutes. Like this one kick right here, because I couldn't figure out how to like animate it correctly. You know, like I couldn't make it look right, so I had to go through a lot of development to like make it work, if that makes sense. And I also wanted to make sure the lightning looked cool, you know, because when I did the scene originally, the lightning was like you could barely even see it because he goes by so quickly. So I like made it kind of uh like the hit lasts longer, you know, it's more drawn out, and the lightning is more visible like in the whole scene, so you can obviously tell even though he does pass by quickly. So I made this before the Sprite update. So, um, he does look a little bit chopped. He looks a little bit chopped here. All right, because I had to use like polyfill and stuff. I thought I did the hair pretty good, but the face and everything else, like his neck, is just like I don't know what was going on here. The eyes are all right. Um, this was, I believe, 20 FPS that I animated this at. I don't remember. I think it was 20 FPS though. Like 20 and 24, depending on the scene. All right, so I'm just gonna draw it real quick. We're gonna make a little story timeline here. We're gonna be the story botched handwriting. The story timeline. Yeah, this is amazing. All right, so we're gonna start here, right? We got uh, hmm, yeah, we got time here, right? This is gonna be time here. um, this is time here, right? He's chilling, you know. He's he's squaring up with the other guy, you know, dude with the hood, you know. He's just he's so he's so evil, you know. I'm explaining this like a kindergartner, but um so yeah, this guy right here is just a random dude, right? He's just a random guy and he has this purple magic right here, right? This is darkness right here. That's what this is called, right? That's what the magic is called, like dark magic basically. And these two, right? They're about to squabble. They're about to fight basically. Yeah, I really enjoyed animating this little section right here. The little hold on, yeah, the little back and forth right here. This was fun. Cause I had him. I was like, what? Like, how could I make this fight like silly in a way, but like also demonstrate his powers at the same time? So I was like, I wanted him to like zoom off the screen like a cartoon character and then like appear on the other side. I thought that'd be cool. Yeah. So if you didn't know, I'm just gonna throw this out there. I don't animate these all by myself. Spoiler alert. Uh, Santa Claus isn't real. Yeah, I animate these with a team, right? I don't pay anybody because I'm broke, but I have a team of animators and they help me to animate the episodes basically. And I like direct them occasionally. Sometimes I let them do their own thing. Sometimes I give them storyboards, things of that nature. So this part right here wasn't animated by me. It was animated by this part was, but everything after, like when you see time here, everything after this part and including this part is animated by two of my friends. One of them is I believe his name is Green Alec Angel. I hope I said that correctly. Uh, and the other person, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but uh, they both helped animate this section basically, and I thought that part was cool. I thought that was a cool part of the little scene that I had going on here. Yeah, so I had Tymir get uh grabbed here because I wanted an opportunity to animate like a little silly face here. And I was also kind of getting burnt out because if you couldn't tell, this is a minute in, and most of that beginning section was done entirely by me. Besides that little section right there of them running in the building, uh, this has been entirely animated by me. So I got kind of burnt out at this point, and I wanted it to be kind of funny. So I was like, I did some silly faces. That part was funny. Um, I don't remember if I told him, the guy who animated that, to do that, or if he just decided. I think I told him to do that, but I don't think I told him to do it like that in that way. So like when I first watched the animation back when he sent it to me, and Timir just gets his like face like caved in, uh, it kind of took me off guard. This part I had a lot of fun animating because I don't normally do uh like parkour and things like that, like acrobatic type stuff. So I had a lot of fun figuring out how to get Timir like back onto the building, because he can't fly, right? So it's not like he can just like fly back up. So I was like, I'll have him shoot a tentacle, right? Pause. I'll have him shoot a tentacle at him, and he'll grab it and then swing off of it, and then swing off the top of the building, because that would just be cool. And he's like, wham. This part right here is animated by one of my friends. His name now is Mailbox, right? But he goes by a couple different names. I call him Luca or Lucario because that's what I knew him as. Um, he does mostly hand drawn animation now. He was actually in. I will show you guys this. Let me open up another YouTube tab. He was actually in a collab. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, he was in this. I believe he was right here. Yeah. So this is my friend Mailbox. Right here. He's really good at animating. Right, as you can tell. He's fire. He's been practicing the hand-drawn stuff for like 3 years. Oh, I thought it was over. It was almost over. It was almost over. Uh, but yeah, he is very good at animating. And at this point, he was like starting to get into the hand-drawn stuff, but he was still doing like stick notes. I think he still does stick notes like a little bit now, but he's mostly into like the hand-drawn stuff, which W for him because he's fire at it. I wish I could do that, but I'm not really skilled with the hand-drawn stuff in that way. But yeah, he did this part right here. This part was fire. Fun fact, when this episode, right, got spotlighted on the Stick Notes website, I'm gonna pull that up also. That's gonna be interesting. If I can find it. I'm gonna go to the past and I will search. Yeah, here I am. So I've been spotlighted 3 times, right? 2 times for Lights Gaze, the 2 episodes, and 1 time for my tutorial. But if you look right here, right, the little teaser animation that they put, right? I don't know the technical term for this, but the little animation that they put, right, to make you click on the video, right? The little snippet, I guess you could say, is from this section animated by Luca, which I respect because this part was fire. Probably like debatably the best part of the episode, to be honest, because I don't know, just like the little set piece here, I thought it was nice. But yeah, let's get back to the episode. So, Timir knocks him away, right? Hits him in the air. I'm not gonna go too in depth on the choreography, at least for this fight. One, because I already did it in another stream, and two, because there's not really anything crazy going on, you know. But here, right, he's flying through the buildings. He got hit through a building, right? And Timir grabs him, throws him, right? Sends him through more buildings, right? He's getting up off of the floor. Timir appears as he's getting up off of the floor, hits him in the head, knocks him into the air, jumps up into the air after him. He's on another building. Big explosion. And then this part, I want to explain. So this part was animated by another friend of mine who's also on the staff named Lank or Glisty, I think. Glistly. I don't know how you spell it or pronounce it. But he's a very good animator, right? And his style is very um, different. But he didn't really finish this part of the episode, and I never really properly corrected it. So it kind of just looks like the animation looks cool, but the characters themselves look uh very off model. And then I had a little transition here because I couldn't figure out how I wanted the fight to end there. Oh, wrong tab. I couldn't figure out how I wanted the fight to end. So I was just like, I'll have it transition. I'll have it do a little cutaway. So Timir, right, goes whoosh, 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 beats this guy up. So this guy's gone now. We jump forward, right? One day or 24 hours, you know. That's good enough age. Yeah, 24 hours, right? Jump forward. By the way, I've been contemplating it because episode 2 is gonna have voice acting. So whenever I drop episode 2 or maybe like before episode 2, should I go back and like dub these episodes? Like should I go back and dub episode 0, you know, the pilot, and episode 1? Cuz I'm thinking about doing it, but I don't know, I'm iffy about it cuz I kind of want to leave them as they are, but I don't know. See, here's Karunma. It's a very flattering introduction. Just standing in the middle of a very pasty forest, right? Which, by the way, these you're gonna see these types of tree shapes again, in the next episode because this is when I was starting to make my own backgrounds, right? Because now, like in episode 2 and beyond, I'm trying my best to like entirely make all the backgrounds myself. So basically, uh, this was like the very beginnings of that, so it's very rough. The faces here are also kind of rough because of how these figures were. There wasn't really a lot of space to put the faces. That rhymed. Yeah, I think this is the first time his name is said in the entire series right here. I don't think he said his own name prior to this. Yeah, if you can't tell, that's live and learn. I don't know. I thought it would be cute, and then I had him say his name also. You know, in a way that would be fitting, which is him answering a phone call. You know, because I couldn't think of another time in the story where it would be like appropriate for him to say his name. There's like one other time that I probably could have done it, but I feel like him doing it here was probably better. Yeah, Tai is Karenma's nickname for Timir, so that's what he calls him most of the time. He just hung up on him. So, um, oh my god, this is gonna be so annoying to do. So we got Karenma here, right? That's Karenma. Hold on, let me draw his hat. I can't forget his hat. So this is Karenma right here, right? And Karenma is just chilling in the middle of a forest, and he gets a phone call, and he has to go pull up basically to Timir because Timir is like, "Yo, you gotta get over here. Something serious going on." So naturally, he goes over, and dang, I remember when I first made this little background right here back in 2023. Oh my god. So this is Karenma and Timir's original, I guess you could say, home, right? Which is the cave. Hold on, I'm going to also pull this up on the side. second. So, yeah. All right, I'm gonna pull up the wiki also. Which, by the way, if you didn't know, we have a wiki. Uh, it's literally just the Light Gaze wiki. Yeah, and it has a summary of the story as well as some other stuff on here. I haven't actually checked it in a while because my co-writer Dill is the one who does this mostly. Like, I'll edit it occasionally, but I don't really do the whole wiki thing because frankly I don't know how to do it. So I don't think too much is different. But yeah. So this is their home. By the way, this song is made by one of my friends. This specific song. I think the previous song was made by me. I don't remember. It's been a long time, but I think the previous song was made by me. But wait, hold on. Jesus. All right. um yeah, let me pull this back up. I got to make sure I can see the chat. I should probably move this to another tab also so I can see you guys when you like actually say something. Yep, there we go. And I'm just gonna there we go. Now I can see you guys. So Kernma pulls up to their home, which is the cave. That's what it's called. It's just called the cave. I didn't think of a fancy name for it. Oh wait, hold on. Can you guys actually see that? I don't know if my stream is bugging. Oh yeah, you guys can see that. Alright, I thought I was tripping. Alright, so Tymir pops up behind him. Because, I thought it would be funny for him to scare Karunma. I also thought that would be kind of funny. Dang, I've gotten a lot better at animating since I made this. this looks a little bit rough. At least this section. Even compared to episode 1, this looks kind of a little bit rough. So, spoilers for episode 1, even though we're about to talk about it in a little bit. This is Mar Vestal. His last name is Waybright, which is why, he says some guy named Waybright, because he didn't actually say his name. He just put his last name, because that's normally what you do. I can't believe I spelled heroes wrong here. That's crazy to me. Krenma's old hair highlights look horrendous. I agree, to be honest. At the time, and from a distance, they look solid, but with the innovations to the Stick Notes app, I've been better able to convey what his hair actually looks like in stick form. Because in drawings, it's always been pretty much the same. Like, I haven't really drawn it that much different since the pilot era. It's mainly just like the stick that looks different. But yeah, that was back in the day. I did Tymir's pretty good though. You can't lie. Yeah, this is basically just exposition about Light's Gaze. Like the world. So there's heroes, right? I'm not gonna go super in depth because that's what the show is actually for. But there's heroes in the world basically, and they just go around doing hero stuff. Saving people, stuff like that. Like kind of like comic book superheroes basically. But they get like paid for it and stuff, and it's like kind of like a government thing. But there's also like programs for heroes that exist, like Mar Vestals, that are not like associated with the government, like the world government. It's kind of just like a solo thing basically. Like he runs it by himself. So that's what he's inviting. And then Tymir mentions his fight that he had. Yeah, similar to My Hero. I would say similar to My Hero. And then Kern is like, why would I want to be a hero? You know, we live in the forest. And then Tymir is like, we might as well pull up just to see, you know, what's going on. And then he says, the location is somewhere in the south. Now, if I look at the wiki, I don't know if the wiki, uh, says anything different. How would I check? Hmm. Uh, hmm. Yeah, this is the city. Where do I find the synopsis? There we go. Yeah, this is the exposition. And then we go in the episodes. We go to the pilot. Oop. I don't know if it mentions that they specifically went to the south. If it doesn't, I'll probably change it in the future. Oh yeah, it does. W. W consistency, chat. Cause the world map of Lightscape is different than Earth. Eventually I plan on like illustrating it in some way, so that way, uh, like when new locations get added to the like lore of the series, you can like put it on the map. You know what I mean? So, this base is specifically in like the southern area of the world. You know, nearby a southern city. You know. And you know it's noon, and by noon I mean the sky is orange and everything else looks exactly the same because I didn't really do lighting, which makes sense to be honest because it is the pilot, so you know you can't get too mad at me for that. But here's where these guys appear for the first time, right? And I don't want to like explain their role in the story, but basically, right, these soldiers are after Karenma and Tymir, mostly Karenma, but also Tymir, because Karenma is obviously not human, right? So they want to capture Karenma basically and experiments on him, like some like Alf basically, if you've ever seen Alf. Um, so they're kind of like on the run, if that makes sense, from these soldiers, and that's why uh they live like in the middle of nowhere, right? Because obviously, if they were to live in like a big city or like a populated area, the soldiers would easily just be able to go like, "Oh, he's here," and just like find him immediately. But this soldier found them while they were on the way to Marvestal's base, and he fires a blast of wind here. So, just to explain how he was able to do that, he's not actually, or this, he doesn't have a name. This soldier. Let's call him Brock, right? Brock here, right? He doesn't actually have the element of wind, right? Like he can't do wind magic on his own, but his suit that he has, that little soldier suit, has the ability to like produce elements like artificially, if that makes sense, like magic. So he can artificially make like wind elements and stuff like that. It's kind of just like how the suits work. Because you know you want uh think of it kind of like a like a cop in a universe with magic, right? You want them to be able to defend people from other people who have magic, right? You can just give them like a gun, right, or something of that nature, because you know you're obviously gonna get cooked by anybody who has magic if you're using a knife, you know, like some basic weapon. Not to say that they don't have knives because they do, but you know it helps more when you have better weaponry. And as you can see here, this is in slow motion, right? As you can see, Karenma is stuck. Like he sees it, right? Like he can see the wind blast, but he can't move out of the way. And then Tymir, being much faster than him, obviously, he's able to move in the way of the attack and block it for him. It's not like Korenma would have been, unalived by that, but it would have hurt, so it's a good thing that Tymir blocked it for him. And then out of nowhere, two soldiers pull up as backup, So then Tymir's, he's ready to fight. Yeah, for this, I used Snakes from Arcane, which, if you don't know, is a show based on League of Legends. It's a Netflix show. It's one of the greatest shows of all time. No exaggeration if you haven't seen it. I absolutely recommend it. And when I was making the pilot, right, like when I was in the process of like writing it and coming up with it, which someday, I'll probably like go over like the actual script, because the original script for the pilot and episode 1 are different from like how the actual episode turned out in the end, because I made changes as I was animating it. But um when I was originally coming up with the new pilot, basically, I was in the process of like having watched Arcane, right, like the first season, because this came out so long ago, right, like when I was working on it, that like this is when the first season of Arcane came out, like before season 2, right? So I remembered this song from the show because it was such a fire song, right? And um I do this thing a lot where like when I listen to music, I like envision like stuff happening like with my characters related to the songs, which is like which is why a lot of moments in Light's Gaze now and in the future are gonna use pre-existing songs like as like background music or in relation to the scene, because like it helps me. I don't know how to describe it, but like I enjoy seeing my characters with music that I also enjoy, if that makes sense. So when I was coming up with the fight scene, this fight scene specifically, I was like, what type of song would be good for this scene, And originally the fight scene was significantly longer. It was a significantly longer fight originally. This whole episode was probably like 12, 15 minutes originally, like the script for it, but it got condensed down because of what happened around the time that I was making this episode, which was I was sick, so I couldn't really devote that much time to it. And I was also talking with somebody from Hartford who was a director, so I wanted to finish this quickly so I could like have this to show them, while I was still in the hospital, because I was in the hospital at the time when I was animating this. Uh, like I made the whole back half of this pilot, like everything after Karenma, like yeah, everything after the cave stuff, I want to say. Like as soon as we get to this part of the pilot right here, like the 4 minute mark, like halfway through, uh, that entire half was done with me in the hospital, and episode 1, like half of that. So, um, yeah, around the time that I was working on that, uh, I wanted to, like, show like my writing skills and my directing skills off to him. Uh, so I did. I made this, the back half of the pilot, and I finished it pretty quickly, and I showed it to him, and he thought it was fire. So that's a W. Uh, but I got very sidetracked there. Um, yeah, so I picked this song because one, I like this song. Two, it's a song that already played in a fight, so it kind of fits the scene. And three, I thought the lyrics of the song were somewhat fitting to the situation. Now it's different than how it like originally played out, because when I originally came up with like the whole fight, there was more emphasis put on like the emotional aspect of it. So the lyrics like mattered more, whereas in the current version, like the finalized version, I guess you could say, of the pilot, um it's more just focused on the fight itself, and the music is just like kind of like an accessory to that, if that makes sense. Whereas before, it was more connected with the actual like theme of the fight. Yeah, I love, dude. So, Uh, yeah, this part was animated by uh one of my friends. I'm gonna say that a lot. His name is Blue Phoenix. He's very talented. He does stick notes and hand drawn. And um, I don't know. I just love everything to do with Kurenma and his spear. Like, I don't know. Spears are just like cool ass weapons. Like, I've always been a fan of spears. So it's like, I don't know. Like, Kurenma having a spear and just doing cool stuff with it is like always gonna be cool to me. And this was in the trailer or the little teaser for the episode before it came out, the pilot. It was specifically like this part of the thing, I believe. It says, "I'll take the two on the left, you take the one on the right." You're gonna see the style of text change a lot, in the pilot and in episode one, because I hadn't really figured out a style of how I wanted to do like the text in my series at this point. I figured it out recently, around the time I think the last Stick Notes collab was. I think the last one was Mansion of Mayhem. Whenever that one came out is when I figured it out because I did a entry for that, and I figured out a way to do like dialogue boxes and stuff in a way that I was happy with. So that's like the current style that I'm going with when it comes to text and stuff, which you'll see more of as I make more Light Gaze content when I'm not procrastinating or burnt out, you know. But yeah, Timir says, "I'll take the two on the left, you take the one on the right." You know, because he's better at fighting than Kurenma is. So Kurenma goes in, right? He's the first one we see because, you know, obviously. And he's just fighting one. You know, he's fighting with a spear. And, I mean, he's not getting cooked. But, you know, it's not, like, a wash. You know, it's a pretty close fight. Like, they're actually going at it. You know, they're boxing, as you can see. This part was animated by Tarts, who, if you don't know, uh, he does Star Child, another Stick Note series. He also animates for a couple different uh Stick Notes related things outside of my series. He's cool. I'm probably gonna make like a little like animation showcase of him eventually. I'm editing the video for that right now. It might actually be the next video that I make, because I already have like 2 minutes of it done, and it's kind of like a simple video. It depends what I'm up to. But yeah, he animated this part. Uh, so Kurenma jumps into the air, right? And they clash, right? His foot to the boot, you know, the boot to the. And then they start fighting on top of the spear, right? So they're standing on the spear right now and they're fighting while in the air. And then Kurenma hits him off of the spear. He goes flying. And then he uses fire, right? Like fire magic to like boost himself, you know, like a little rocket. And then he punches him with fire and then it causes an explosion. You know, he gets cooked. Figuratively and literally, you know. So that's how he dealt with uh his two opponents. And here's Timir. Uh if I remember correctly, I believe this part was also animated by Tarts. I think so, yeah. This part, it was either Tarts or Blue because they were both doing a majority of this fight. So Timir comes in, right? He's just weaving, you know, dodging and weaving, if you look. Which I specifically told them to put in because I thought it would be fire. And it is. And I wanted to make it clear that, like, Timir is, like, obviously better at fighting and, like, kind of stronger in a way than Kurenma here. Like, you can just see him, like, whooping the soldiers. Minimal difficulty. Just light work. And then Kurenma falls back down. Again, this was before the sprite update, so this looks kind of whack. I get it, you know. But in my defense, this is the pilot, so you know, things are still being worked on. He gets his shit rocked. This was also animated by Link, but it was more finished, you know, so it doesn't look off model. Then this part was animated by Green Alec also. This whole little section right here. And I really like his like style to like animating because it's like it's so smooth, you know. Like it feels cinematic almost, if that makes sense. So it's like I don't know, yeah. And then this is my personal favorite part of the episode right here. This little ending part. This is animated by the same person who did the running section earlier. This running section, same dude. So this is all him right here. Soldier dashes forward, does a little kick, right? Karenma catches the kick. And I love this part, even though his eyes were a little bit wonky. Kicks him in the face. He gets sent into the mountain. Then the other two pop back up, right? And they're like dashing towards him with fire, but it's green fire, right? Not orange fire. They pull up, right? And then before anything happens, Timir grabs Karenma. They jump, they dodge the attack. They're in the air now. And then they do like a little team attack right here on some Naruto Storm, you know, type shit right here. Karenma throws Timir, and then Timir just like knees them, kicks them. Right? Yeah, I guess you should say because you know his foot is extended. He just kicks them, and there's like a humongous explosion. You know, that's how you know they're gone for sure. They're never coming back after that. Look at all the debris that's fallen. This was cool. I enjoyed this part, even though I like barely animated any of this. In fact, the only part of this that I actually animated was I think I animated Karenma getting up here, and I animated the final shot, and that was it of this section. So yeah, Timir laughs at Karenma falling, which is kind of a running gag that I want to have, and just Karenma being unable to stick landings. I don't know. And then Timir gets a little woozy, you know, like well I'm feeling a little woozy here. Karenma catches him. He got like cut or stabbed right here. Some poison. Kind of shoddily done, but you know, it's alright, it's the pilot. You know, it doesn't have to look the best, you know, as long as it conveys the story. And then I animated this little part right here. And I thought that was cute. And that's the ending of the pilot, right? There's a little bit of art that I had done. I love the way Timir looks in this drawing right here. With the pilot design. But yeah, just to round out the story, right? So uh Timir, right? Timir and Karenma. I'm just gonna draw them with solid colors, right? Timir and Karenma. Right. I gotta give him his hat though. Timir and Karenma. They talk at the cave for a little bit, you know. They conversate back and forth, you know. And then afterwards, they decide to travel, right? To Marvestal to do the whole hero thing or to see what's up, rather, right? So they travel, um, and then they come to like the little rocky area, right? Little rocky area right here. And then there's Karenma, and here's Timir, and they fight the evil stinky soldiers, right? The stinky soldiers. They're gross and they have like green eyes and stuff, you know, the little visor. And that's basically the whole pilot right here. This whole section right here. That's basically everything that happens in the pilot. Alright. Now we move on to episode 1, which already looks better. Not really the background, but in terms of the music, I guess, the music looks better. And there's more establishing shots, like it's more tastefully done because I was more coherent when I was doing this. So I made the whole background. As you can see, the models obviously look way better now. Uh, they've gotten revamped since this, but they're not too much different than this. Like if you look at my little character in the corner right now and you look at Kurama, they don't look too different. But obviously you can tell that my hat is different, you know, a couple other things, but besides that I'm mostly the same. So yeah, I started animating this right after we finished the pilot. And as you can see, it didn't get uploaded until March of 2024, even though I started animating this legitimately right after I finished the pilot. Like right after we finished the pilot and the models were done, I started animating episode 1. But yeah, production value has gone up a lot. So now, this is the same area, by the way, that they were in before. It just looks different, you know? And it's daytime now. But they traveled a little bit, you know? Grandma walked, they set up a tent. Time here's a map, you know, just looking at it. And Kurenma rips it, sorry. Damn, I almost said whips it. Crazy. He rips it. He's like, good morning. This is animated by my friend, Jehu? I think that's how you say his name. He made Zero Gravity, if you are familiar with that series on Stick Notes. He's a cool guy. And then, I believe I did this part from Turning Around. Or I think he did it and I corrected it a bunch. And then they both walk up to the edge, because, you know, it's like right here. By the way, this is not what the Radiance building looks like anymore. Visually, we've upgraded it since then. But, you know, overall, it's not too much different. Same thing with the forest here. The forest is a lot more detailed than it was back then. Little sound cue. Little sound cue. This is one of my favorite parts of the episode. This is like the stuff that like I want to animate mostly, besides the fighting, right? It's just like silly stuff like this. I don't know. While also telling a story. Also, fun fact. I forgot to get rid of the eyes here. So if you look, you can kind of just see, right, like the eyes, because I forgot to get rid of them on every frame. So then here's Marvestal. He pops up. My favorite character. And he's like, thanks for knocking. And then here's Kurenma getting ready to throw a spear at the door, right? So real quick, we're just gonna start the timeline of episode 1, because this one is a lot simpler than this one, believe it or not, in terms of events. So we got Kurenma. Oh wait, I forgot to draw his hat over here. How scandalous of me. So we have Kurenma and we have Taimir. And they're chilling in the little rocky area, right? They're chilling. But then they eventually go and they find Marvestal. So here's Kurenma. We got Kurenma here. Then we got Taimir right next to him. And then we got Marvestal. And I'm gonna make him a dark red. There we go. So that's those three, right? Now they're all chilling together, having a good grand old time. He tells them to follow him because obviously he knows who they are. Now they're walking inside of the base. By the way, this background was extremely rough because I couldn't find an existing one, and I also couldn't really make this myself because I didn't have the skills. I still probably don't have the skills to really make this look good, but yeah, so they're following Marvestal. Kurenma's calling him weird. He calls everybody weird. They pulled up. I thought the little eye thing here, where their eyes pop up in the dark, I thought that was kind of cool and cute. Yeah, they, Marvesto sits down here, you know, in his office, which, this office was done for me by one of my friends, like the background for it. Turns on the light, and he starts interviewing them, and, this portion can honestly just speak for itself, so I'm gonna just let it play. So yeah, after they explain their history and stuff, he's like, the interview's over, but they're not done getting tested yet. Missed opportunity to do an Earth, Wind, and Fire joke? You're right, I should've. I missed the opportunity. Damn. Maybe in episode 2. Maybe in episode 2. Maybe in episode 2. Well, he does also have Earth, but, uh, he hasn't used it yet. Spoilers. So yeah, Marvesto sets up a little timer here, and they get to squabbling. By the way, the reason why the colors keep changing is because both of these happen like at different times, but it's like kind of like the same. Like it's the same room, but they both fight him at different times. So Tymir fought him first, and then Karenma went in after. Keep in mind, Tymir is a better fighter than Karenma. So I'm gonna skip a little ahead. Yeah, I use this song because one, I love this song. Uh, two, when I was writing this scene originally, when I was writing episode 1, this was the song that came to mind. It was this song, and it was another song that I can't remember the name of. But yeah, this song was what came into my head the most. So I was like, I might as well use it as the background for the song and have it be 1 minute. You know, be suspenseful. And they got this problem. Yeah, the choreography for this is a little bit more complicated, and I actually like thought it out more. So I'm gonna try to like break it down a little bit. By the way, this was animated by me, Blue Phoenix from earlier, uh, Tarts, and like 2 other people, Green Alec and the guy whose name I can't pronounce. It's kind of like the main roster of the series, at least at this point. So yeah, Karenma gets rocked by Marvestal because he's not that guy. Mm. This part, I don't think I scripted, or if I did, I don't remember like laying it out like this. So this was entirely improvised by Blue right here. But I love that he animated Marvestal like jumping over his punch right here. I just thought that was fire. And then the little kick. It's just like it's so disrespectful. It's like he's so nonchalant while doing it. And he tries to sweep kick him. Karenma evades it. He goes to punch him, and then it transitions to Tymir punching him, but there's a barrier. And then Tymir pushes him. I mean, not Tymir. Marvestal pushes Tymir back. And then Tymir runs forward, trying to get him. Marvestal just like lets him go by. He's trying to catch him off guard. He's doing the same type of attack that he did against the soldiers in the pilot, right? Like going around them. And then he goes for the kick. But then Marvestal just like easily moves out of the way. He's like, what? And he's like, bro, what are you doing? He's like, what's good with you, bro? He slams into the wall. He jumps up, right? He like spawns like a gigantic lightning bolt in his hand. He goes boom, throws it right at him, right? It's a nice shot. He blocked it with the barrier again, right? Then we go back to Karenma. He's boxing, and look at Marvestal, bro. He's just too clean with it. It's just like, ugh. Look, he blocks his hits. He got one hand behind his back, right? Look, he goes for another punch. Weave. And he goes for another hit. Weaves that. And then he goes for a kick. And then he weaves that too. He's just so disrespectful. And he just walks away from the last kick. He didn't even do anything. He's like, stop flexing. I don't really like how I wrote this. I feel like using stop twice in one sentence was kind of redundant. But then he's like, stop messing around, do something about it, basically. Like, fuck around, find out. And he's like, stop you. And his eyes turn pink, which signifies him locking in, basically. It's like his locked in mode. So then he uses fire, right? Marvestal reacts to it, right, with his magic. Blocks it with one finger. Light work, no reaction. He's like, better. Only 16 seconds left. He uses more, what is it called? More fire, right? Big fireball. Boom, right? Sends it right at, Marvestal right here. And then Marvestal just redirects it. So this is the part that was featured for the first episode on the website, which I can't say I really blame them for it, to be honest. I think it kind of fits. If you're asking me. Okay, he sends that back. Friend was like, oh damn. And he sends his spear through the smoke. Marvestal blocks it again. He appears behind him again with the fire, throws the spear again from a different angle. Marvestal jumps out of the way of it. And he's like, ha. He's like almost about to grab the spear, right? But then, what is it called? Karenma pulls up. He switches places with the spear, right? And then Marvestal's like, oh shit, I'm about to get cooked. It's about to be wraps. And then he just slams him. Little diff. He's like, yep, you just got a little bro. And time's up. He's got cooked. Yeah, I was really proud of how that whole scene came out. Even though it's not actually like a minute long, it's a little bit more than a minute. Cause some of it's slowed down. Hold on, I'm about to sneeze, I think. Ooh, bless me. So yeah. I was really proud of how that scene came out, to be honest. It's probably like my favorite scene of Lightsky so far that I've had the pleasure of making. So then Tymir's like, dang, can't believe he did that. Which we don't get to see, by the way. I might show it in the next episode. But we don't get to see how Tymir's fight ended. It was worse than Karenma's. He got done dirty. And then Karenma's like, so Tymir's here. He's like, I should probably go sit with him. And Tymir slams him because he thought it was Marvestal, but it was Karenma. He's like, what the heck was that for? And Tymir picks him back up. Like, I can't believe I almost got him. He's like, at least he got close. Like, I missed him completely. And he's like, yeah, but he just blasted me away. Before we finish this episode, because it's almost over, right? I just want to point out the fact that, starting from this episode on, because I don't believe I did this in the pilot, but starting from episode 1 on, I started writing the episodes in a very specific way, to, like, structure them better, I guess, like, pacing-wise. So if you're familiar with how most stories go, right? They normally go like the exposition right here, right? They have rising action, the climax, the falling action, and the resolution, right? This is like the standard US, I guess you could say, like writing format for stories, but I personally prefer writing in the Eastern version, right? The Eastern version of the plot diagram, whatever you would call it, right? Which is called Kisho Tenketsu, right? And one day I might make a video just on this like plot structure as a whole, but it's fairly similar to the US one, but instead of there being the exposition, right, the rising action, right, the climax, um, it's just the introduction and then there's development, right, until it reaches like the peak, right, which would be the climax, and then there's a twist, right. So, for example, I'll give the example of like Goku versus Frieza, right? So in Goku versus Frieza, right, Goku and Frieza fight, right? That would be the introduction. They start fighting. The development, right, would be Goku. Um, he like we figure out that Goku's been using the Kaioken the whole time, right? So he's getting cooked basically. So then he uses the Kaioken times 20. You know, he realizes his only option is the Spirit Bomb. He uses the Spirit Bomb, and then Frieza gets cooked, right? And then the twist would be, Frieza's still alive. Krillin gets unalived, you know, and then Goku turns Super Saiyan. And then the whole fight continues, and then the conclusion would be, you know, Goku wins, obviously. So that's kind of how this plot structure works compared to the standard format. Basically, there's more time focused on the development of stuff, and then there's a more sudden like twist rather than it being like a climactic, you know, like it could still be climactic like the twist, but it's not really like the focus of it. Basically, like a twist can just be like uh kind of like how, what would be a good example? Um, hmm. I guess I would say like um hmm. I can't really think of a good example of like a twist in the anime, like a good twist that would fit this like structure. Maybe like I'm trying to, because there's a lot of twists, but they don't really fit like what I'm trying to describe. Like I could say like Itachi being revealed to not be evil, right? But that wouldn't really be like an example of a twist in this nature. I would say like, I don't know, but you get the point that I'm making basically. So, with episode 1, I started writing in that structure, and it's more notable in episodes 2 and the script for episode 3, which by the way I already finished writing episode 3 months ago. In fact, I've already started coming up with ideas for episodes 4 and beyond. Uh, but yeah, it's more notable in those episodes, but you can still see like the structure of Kisho Tenketsu here a little bit, right? You know, the introduction, and there's all this development, right? A whole bunch of development, right? And then here comes the twist right here, almost at the end. So they're talking, they're having a fun conversation, right? He's like, I get you, right? And then here comes Mar Vestal. He pulls up, and then you're like, what's up? It's like dramatic. He's like, you both pass. Yeah. And then this, in my opinion, is the twist of the episode. It's like, wow, they got a whole room, and it's already decorated and everything. I think this is a custom song, but I don't remember. And he's like, my Switch! Because Kernman's a gamer. And Timer's like dibs on the green side, because obviously, right? It's color coordinated. He's like, I hope you two enjoy. By the way, this room also looks different in episode 2. Um, because, you know, I redid everything to be more detailed and less two flat colors on a wall. So yeah, this is setting up for episode 2, right? He's like, before you become heroes officially, there's one more test for you two. It'll be early tomorrow morning. I have a guest arriving at that time. He's like, they'll be joining your test as well as a few other people. He's like, so we'll be fighting and stuff? And he's like, basically, you'll understand more tomorrow. And he's like, it sounds kind of fun. And then his imaginary watch is like, what? Would you look at the time? And he just dips, you know. And the timer's like, I think we should head to bed. I think this scene takes place around like noon, right? Not like nighttime because they were just outside, but around like noon time. So they went to sleep early so they could wake up early. You see Karma's old chopped hair from back then, which is crazy to say because this episode was it's over a year old now, which is crazy because I still remember uploading this last year. But I mean, yeah, that's Lights Gaze at least right now. You know, while I work on episode 2. We're like 3 minutes into episode 2. It's still a ways away, but the trailer should hopefully come out sometime this year. Preferably probably this summer. Depends how much work we get done. But yeah, basically, um that's everything that's been revealed so far. Um I kind of already explained everything that we went over, so I don't think I need to draw it out for you guys. And then if you go to, the wiki, what do you call it? And you go to episode 1, it basically says the same thing I said. Mm-hmm. Yep, that's my series. If you want any tips, to make a series, I'm probably gonna do like a video in the future, like talking about like writing tips and like production aspects of it, like assembling like a group of people, stuff like that. Um, but yeah, if you want like a big tip, I would say writing out your episodes is very important because a mistake that a lot of animators, and I mean a lot of animators, like a majority of Stick Notes animators, make, is that they just kind of wing their series. Like they're kind of just like, oh, I'm gonna make this, and then I'll make that, and then I'll make this, instead of having like an idea of what they want to do. So like their series will be like incredibly like either confusing or just won't make any sense, or the writing will be like really bad. Um, I'm not gonna give any examples because I don't want to talk bad about the like anybody in specific, but basically, um, it's very important to write out your stories before you make them. Plus, uh, when you're actually animating the episode, it's not like you can't make changes to your script as you're doing it. I mean, I've done that for the pilot and episode 1, and I'm probably gonna do it for episode 2 as well. In fact, I already kind of have, to be honest, and the episode's not even out yet. So, I mean, like, there's nothing wrong with that. And I would say it's also good to have other people like besides like just like your core audience of whoever you're making your episodes for, like whether it be your family or your fans, like if you have a YouTube channel, or your friends, right? Like get somebody outside of your main circle to critique your work, basically. Like get somebody like a third opinion, I guess you could say, like somebody who is not necessarily like a huge fan of you, to just like watch it and then tell you what they think, because getting perspectives from people who you aren't like super familiar with is like super helpful. And they also have like differing opinions. Everybody has their own opinion. So one person might love your episode and have no complaints for it, and you could take that advice and keep making the same thing forever. Or you could talk to somebody else who might be like, hey, this was nice, but I also didn't really like this, and that. And then you'll know for your next episode or your next project, you'll be like, oh, I should probably not do this because, that guy uh, wasn't really a fan of it. That might not be the best thing for my audience. I would say polls are also good if you have like a substantial enough fan base doing like polls. I do polls often on the Discord when it comes to like stuff that I'm conflicted about. Speaking of which, we've done a couple polls in there. recently in regards to Discord content and like YouTube content. Let me go in there real quick. I'm pretty sure you guys can see this. Let me just make sure. Yeah, you guys can see this. So, if you go in here, right? This was the most recent one I did. I did which Kendrick Lamar song slash feature should I make an animation for? And I gave 4 options. I probably should have gave more options, but you know, uh I couldn't really think of anything besides these 4. And these were the main 4 that I have ideas for. It's looking like Untitled 05 is gonna win, which I'm fine with, because these 2, funnily enough, are the ones that I have the most of like an idea for as to what I want to animate already. So hopefully those would turn out good. And then this one was a month ago, and it was, should I host animation contest in the server? And everybody said yes. And then this one was a podcast, which I want to start working on soon, but that's besides the point. I am gonna start hosting more animation contests and stuff. I also want to do another collab soon, like in a similar way to the Kick My Butt one, because for one, I've seen a lot of people doing their own versions of that collab, which I love. Because I like when other people get inspired by my work. You know, it makes me feel good. Taking a sip of my drink. But I don't know, just doing collabs is fun. I like getting a bunch of animators together and just having them show off their work. And it's a good way to get your name out there. You know what I mean? Because I would say a somewhat substantial fan base. I have like 2,000 subscribers, you know? If you have like 50, 100 subscribers and you're like in one of my collabs and you have like a really cool animation part, that's probably going to be like at least like 10, 20 more subs, right? Like anything counts, right? So, um, yeah, I've been doing stuff in the Discord, but hopefully now after this stream, I'll be able to get back, like into the groove of things. You know, start uploading more. Uh, Hopefully live streaming more. I want to go live either tomorrow again or Thursday or Friday. I'll do like a poll, maybe. I'll think about it. I don't know, but I will let you guys know in the Discord, whatever date I do decide to stream again, so that way you guys know ahead of time. Uh, but moving on, I wanted to know if there was any suggestions you guys had as far as videos to react to, whether it be like your videos or your friends' videos, preferably stick notes related. You know, don't give me something like I don't know, like some random cooking video. You know, I don't want to watch Gordon Ramsay make a filet mignon. You know, if not, then I'll probably just end stream, because you know I already covered everything that I wanted to cover personally. And I don't want to stay on stream too long, since you know this is like my first stream back in what, like 2, 3 months, maybe more. You know, I don't want to just stay and like yap about nothing like I just was. I don't want to overstay my welcome. I might also do like expanding on my tutorials one day. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? An animation contest? Hmm. That might be a cool idea. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna take that idea and I'll just run with it, right? I think what I'll do, right, is I will have uh a contest where um people can like submit like YouTube videos that they've made, like animations, like from their series or like just animations in general, right? And just like submit them. I'll give like guidelines, like it has to be like a certain length. Pause. It has to have some type of effort put into it. Like it can't just be like random. You know what I mean? And uh like I'll have a winner and 2 runner-ups basically. And I don't know, the winner I'll probably give like Nitro or something, like a gift card. maybe, if I can, And then the runner-ups, I'll give like shout outs and I'll give them like custom roles in the Discord or something like that. Um, and I think it would be cool to just like react to a bunch of people's like YouTube stuff, like comment on it, kind of like how I'm doing right now, or like how I used to do in like the earlier live streams that I did. I think that would be cool. I'll write that down. I'll start coming up with the idea for that. I should be able to do that relatively soon. I'll make it like a summer thing probably. So I'll do summer collab. There we go. So look forward to that. I'll probably be making that relatively soon. Probably like the end of the month. Um, as for my schedule, in terms of like what I'm gonna do next on the channel, because I don't want to just leave you guys in the dark, even though I do update on the Discord. Um, Next video will probably be the Tarts video I was talking about. Just like showcasing a bunch of his animations. And the video after that will either be Do versus Don't 4, or it'll be the Lightscape short that I was animating in my last real live stream, not the tournament that I did, but in my, I think it was my 4th live stream, where I was just animating like the short, because I didn't finish it, but it's almost done. Basically, I'm just gonna like end it with like a shit post, because why not? I've been procrastinating on it too long anyways, and since it's Lightscape related, I think it would be nice to get that out, since I haven't uploaded anything Lightscape related since this video, technically, besides the Discord if you count that, which was over a year ago, like I said, 14 months to be exact. So that'll probably be the next thing that I work on. And then after that, I'll still be streaming, working on Lightscape episode 2. I don't know if I'll stream me working on that. I might. Depends how much people want that. And that's really it. I mean, I think this was a pretty fun live stream. I had fun talking about the history of the series, a little bit. I didn't go into too much detail, but I had fun, talking about, you know, the whole process that went into making it and some of the reasons behind some of the decisions I made. I hope you guys, everybody who's been here, enjoyed it too. I don't really care how many people show up, if it's 2 people or 20 people, you know what I mean? Uh, I just care that I get to, entertain people. So, I'm gonna be signing off now. I will stream again in the coming days. I will let you guys know in the Discord. If you haven't joined the Discord, it's in the description. Go check that out. Oop, I went back. Go check that out. Make sure you also check out my card. It has like links to my socials and stuff. Make sure you also check out my Ko-fi if you're interested in supporting me. If you want to donate a couple bucks, you don't have to, but you're always encouraged. I would also appreciate you guys giving out any likes you could, any subscriptions. And if you want to download anything off of my Ko-fi shop, I have the models from the pilot, all 4 of them, right? All 4 of these models. I got the Bandit, right? Matter of fact, I'll pull it up right now. Let me see. Where would I pull that up at? Here we go. 1 second. I'm gonna showcase this right now, just so you guys can see. In case you're interested, if you want to make animations with these models, because they are fairly old. They're a little bit wonky, but they got their charm to them. They're cute. All right, so, yep, this is my Ko-fi. All right, if you're interested in checking out any of this, this has some random assets in here, that I made. Actually, I don't think I made that one, but I believe these 2 are from me. But yeah, there's that, and then all the models, and then this project, which is just, if you don't know how to ease, and you're trying to learn, this is a pretty good example right here. Which, I'm probably going to make another one of those for my next Do versus Don't, which, spoiler alert, is going to be a remake of my first one with more information. because that one is very outdated compared to the other two. It's gonna be about the lighting of like your animations and stuff. I already have a majority of it scripted, and I've already recorded some of it like a couple months ago. So I'm just gonna finish what I started basically. Where's it at? Tutorials. Boom. Yeah. So if you look at the how long all my other ones are, right? They're like 6 minute, 37 minutes, and this one's like 3 minutes long. So I'm basically just gonna do like uh a 6 minute, 7 minute version with more uh detail, more explanations, with my voice, unlike the other two, or like the first two, I should say. And hopefully you guys enjoyed that too. But with all that being said, I'm not gonna yap anymore. It's been an hour and 30 minutes. I'm gonna let y'all get back to your days. But hopefully, you guys enjoyed the stream. I appreciate everybody who showed up, and I will see you guys in the next stream and in the next video. And y'all have a good day, and y'all stay safe.